Yeah, Claire comes from Malaysia and didn't know that the Malaysian rate of FGM was over 50%, and she claimed it was an African practice and had nothing to do whatsoever with Mohammedanism. Uh,
It doesn't get dumber than that. Like,
well, it just goes to show you she really doesn't give a shit. She has no empathy. Like,
well,
for me, the thought of people getting their genitals mutilated really bothers me. Like, it really bothers me. I really just makes me so sad, honestly. Like, I hate that that happens. I wish I could do more to oppose it. But I know for a lot of people, they basically have Stockholm syndrome and they consider genital mutilation part of their identity. And I don't think I can necessarily change their minds, but for the people that aren't at that point yet, maybe I can. So I do really care. Like, I want people, you know, there is some truth to the whole God made the body thing. We shouldn't be trying to change our bodies. It's sacrilege.
yeah, especially doing harm. I mean, I consider male circumcision to be just awful and barbaric too. It's very traumatizing for boys.
It causes brain damage. I'm
And
not saying it's any worse for women than men. It's equally terrible. It's just more widespread for men, so people are more used to it. And there's arguments in support of it, like, oh, it looks better. Like, honestly, does it really look better? Like, I think penises look pretty scary and gross no matter what is done to them. So I don't think it's meant to be a beautiful organ. Let's just put it that way. That's
yeah,
just my 2 cents.
yeah, I don't know. It's just, that's all because we listen to the Kellogg family and their Puritanism. That's actually how it got here. But
Wasn't it sold as like a way to get boys to stop masturbating or some fucking degenerate bullshit like
that
that?
was one reason. Yeah,
Yeah, so this is basically the same reason why bans on idolatry don't work. If you want people to stop cranking it 24/7, you need to like give them something else to focus on because obviously the sexual impulse is quite strong. So you have to like give them a theocracy to focus on instead, right? Which is what we did historically. And we also didn't eat that much meat, which decreases your sexual lust. So there are ways to get people to masturbate less, but I don't think chopping off part of their dick is really going to solve that problem. Because I don't think people who have circumcision masturbate any less. Like, I don't know. I haven't done any studies personally, but I doubt it.
well, considering how few studies are done about how bad porn is on the brain for obvious reasons, we're going to have to study this stuff somehow because we have to fix our erotic economy, for lack of a better
Do you
term.
think, you honestly think, because you're a man, you probably have better intuition on this, do you think circumcision decreases propensity for masturbation?
It probably has null effect. I mean, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. And it's the same with a ban on idolatry. It doesn't diminish idolatry. It just makes people idolaters of a different sort. Like, are we really going to say that there's no idolatry going on in the modern day? People worship money. People worship celebrities. People worship politicians. They worship basically child. They worship pedophiles, right? That's the worst kind of idolatry I can think of. Although I'm sure that these degenerates can think of something worse than that, just given enough time, because they seem to be very creative when it comes to degeneracy. So obviously, a ban isn't going to make the problem go away. It's just going to force it underground. It's going to make it worse in the long run. So clearly, some problems can't be solved through laws. Laws should only be negative. Everything else should be voluntarism. Yeah, join the theocracy. Be a vegetarian. Don't masturbate so much because you understand that it's a distraction from spirituality, or be a chronic masturbator and don't be in the theocracy. I don't care, but to think you can ban stuff like that, it's just goes to show you how incompetent these people are in statecraft. They can't create anything. They can only destroy.
Well, I mean, I'm not like with the Christian Puritanism and concupiscence and all that crap via masturbation, but the only thing I've ever read about masturbation, from what I know, that means you might ever want to do it, is like, and this is also is like if you're having trouble sleeping, you do it and it helps like your hormonal balance adjust so that you go to sleep.
The way we look at it is we have a saying that says it takes 40 drops of water to make 1 drop of blood and 40 drops of blood to make 1 drop of semen. So people should view their semen as like something that they should be conserving as much as possible, because if you like, there's techniques you can use to sort of change the direction, because right now everyone is like, it's a unilateral thing where the semen just wants to eject and it backs up, and this is what you're talking about. It can, like, masturbation can offer some release to that and relief, and this is why I don't tell people not to masturbate, because I think if you want to stop doing stuff like that, you have to have a spiritual reason to want to stop. You can't just be like, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, because that won't work. It'll just back it up and eventually harm you. But yeah, you can do things like in your diet. If you eat less meat, you'll have less aggression and less backed up semen. But there are ways to change the direction from being strictly ejection to, like, you can turn it around and cause that energy to go back inside, which will give you more spiritual energy and more power. So there are ways to deal with it, but you have to want to. I don't think you can force people to do those things.
Yeah, I think it would be good. I mean, this approach to masturbation without the guilt and shame of, Jesus or God in the sky damning you to hell is really might be really helpful for people to get over like the sexual dysfunction and degeneracy that's everywhere. Because
Shaming doesn't work. It doesn't work. It just makes people more perverted because the shame becomes its own fetish.
and it also comes out sideways in other characters like myself.
Exactly. You have to, like, when there are currents and pressures in the human organ, you have to mediate them. You can't just say, don't do this, bad. Jesus will judge you. You'll get hair growing out of your palms. Like, doesn't, I'm sorry, that doesn't work. It's laughable that people think that it could work. It's so obviously just gonna cause the aggression to come out elsewhere. And I think that's what they want. They want this like undercurrent of untapped aggression, so that as soon as they say, hey, we're going to war with these people, people are so fucking picked up that they're willing to go to war with anybody, because they have no way of mediating their aggressions in a healthy way.
The other thing we gotta stop because of that is, although we shouldn't tolerate the very worst of sexual behavior at all, Epstein type shit.